Right lads, I'm your host of Man And His Kebab. Let's hope this attempt at recording this video goes better than my last one. This is it. It's like itchy in my throat, and like when I speak, it just itches it more and more. It feels like I'm gonna get sick, but it's like... But anyways, welcome back to even more Irish Stereotypes, brought to you by a man who knows the lyrics to Sweet Caroline better than his own national anthem. I'm just gonna blame the Irish education system for that one. So in the last video we covered drinking, little men who only care about money, yeah no not them, leprechauns, and the fact that Hollywood does not know what we sound like.
What do you think you're doing?
But what other stereotypes do all of you non-paddies have about us? Well, it's time to find out.
Listen, you do nothing now, Valdemirs. You need to calm yourself down, right? Rather be nonny on the pan.
Yeah, this one's nothing short of propaganda. Now, in all fairness, we can be friendly and welcoming people, when we're not slagging you. In Ireland, being friendly towards someone very often involves insulting them, which in some cases can confuse and possibly offend people who visit this country. But don't worry, because if we weren't insulting you, that either means we don't like you, or you're the worst possible thing you could be in Ireland, a dry shite. Yeah, in simple terms, it just means you're boring and not really fun to hang around. These insults can range from anything between how big your nose is, to why you're wearing a denim jacket to the club. This sense of humour also stems from the fact that traditionally, life in Ireland was... shit. So of course we needed some sort of way to brighten the mood. Yeah, our humour is basically just a coping mechanism.
My brother put up the lights. When you go into Connolly Station, you see a rake of lights out in the front. Now, he got the job in 1997.
This one is as true as the fact that I'm not very tall. Trying to get a straight answer out of an Irish person is arguably more difficult than trying to get information out of a North Korean spy. Yeah, we're incapable of saying no, instead opting to answer with uncertainty by saying, I'm with you. I'll see. And, but I'm not too sure. I'll get back to you. I'm sorry to the people at Cork for that horrendous accent. Which we promptly proceed to never do. We also tend to go off on tangents when asked simple questions. Best summed up by this clip from The Late Late Show featuring Bernard O'Shea. RTE, please don't copyright strike me. Please.
You know, I've seen tourists go, excuse me, sir, where is Connolly Station? So why do you want to go there? My brother put up the lights. When you go into Connolly Station, you see a rake of lights out in the front. Now, he got the job in 1997, and he bought 14 halogen bulbs in for they didn't fit. Your man who got the job originally, he actually didn't finish the job at all. And my brother ended up getting two lads from Crossmolina, right? They went on the lash, so he couldn't see them for a fortnight. I don't know where it is, I'm not from here.
Just as a tangent to that, we also tend to downplay things. So if you're ever out with a group of mates and one of them passes out, if the Irish lad says, should be grand, call help immediately, because things are most certainly not grand.
How much that was worth during the boom? But 18.5 million. Do you know what it sold for yesterday? 420 euros.
Yeah, this one annoys me especially. It's a common misconception by people who haven't visited this country, especially Americans, that Ireland is just comprised of small villages made up of cottages, a pub for every family, and the local church. Now this does hold some truth. Ireland was, and still is, a largely rural country. But lads, we do actually have towns and cities. There's only like 3 they could actually classify as cities, but still. Realistically, we have Dublin, Cork, and at a stretch, Galway. Yeah, I know there's going to be some Irish people who are going to be offended because they think their town is actually a city, but shush. All 3 have great nightlifes and are great places to visit, especially Dublin. If you ignore the junkies. Junkies are Dublin City's inhabitants that communicate through untranslatable grumbles, unless you're one of the few like me that can somehow understand what they're saying, and will commonly ask you for either a shot of your phone or a lighter. But yeah, realistically the rest of the Irish landscape is just fields, farmhouses, and every now and then an IRA weapon stash.
Who the fuck is that guy? Who the fuck is that?
The so-called Fighting Irish. The Irish are commonly seen as the type to get into a tussle, and this can once again be blamed on the devil's beverage of choice, Smithwick's. That's not to say other drinks don't have the same effect. Throughout our history, Ireland has commonly been seen as a fighting nation, due to our numerous rebellions against the English, and the All-Ireland bare-knuckle royale, known as the Civil War. In all honesty, this one might be a bit exaggerated. Yeah, I know it's kinda hard to believe a strapping young lad such as myself isn't in the bar every weekend, cracking chairs over people's heads. Yeah, if you couldn't tell, that doesn't happen. Do fights break out in the drunken streets of Saturday night Dublin? Obviously. More than any other city in Europe, however, that's up for debate.
Don't make unnecessary journeys. Don't take risks.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, yeah, there is a bit more to it than that. Ireland, depending on where you live of course, experiences rainfall for anywhere between 150 to 225 days of the year. I know, I googled it. With the west and south of the country being worst off. This is largely due to our proximity to the Atlantic and the fact that we lie in the path of the Gulf Stream, a warm ocean stream hailing from Mexico. However, in some cases this does come to our advantage. Due to how far north we are, Ireland should get a lot of snowfall during the winter. However, it's realistically about 2 days of the year and it's like that much. The Gulf Stream also gives us a fair bit of heat during the summer, usually peaking in the high 20s to low 30s sometimes. Yeah, that's Celsius for you Americans. However, realistically a warm day here is anything above 15 degrees, which often confuses European tourists from places like Spain and Italy when we're walking around in shorts in April and they're wrapped up in big coats wondering why it's so cold. Granted, however, put an Irishman in a Spanish climate and he'll soon become the human equivalent to an uncooked rasher due to how unaccustomed we are to anything above room temperature. Yeah, this one I tried to steer clear of last time due to reasons, but I think it does need to be addressed. Do we as Irish people hate the English? No. However, do we find them incredibly annoying? God, yes. Yes. Ireland is a very history-rich country, and the thing about that history is we tend to bring it up very often, even if there's no particular reason to do so. Now look, a lot of people, especially those in the north, still remember, and in some cases are still experiencing, the British rule over Ireland. It's a very sensitive political and religious issue. I'd rather not get into it here, but just remember, some people still harbour ill will towards our former conquerors. However, most Irish people nowadays have no recollection of those days, and only really bring up history as a way to bash the Brits because we like to complain and point blame at someone. Realistically, if you are an Englishman coming to Ireland, there's nothing to particularly be afraid of rather than a bit of slagging. But we do find English football fans very annoying. I also must advise you not to mention Maggie Thatcher or Oliver Cromwell. We don't particularly like those two. But anyways, that was 6 more Irish stereotypes. Will I do a sequel to this sequel? I'm not particularly sure. I've kind of covered a lot of the big ones and the rest of them are kind of just related to the big ones. But anyway guys, I'd like to thank you guys for watching and I'll see you in Dingle next weekend.